Drake.
Good morning. Just a quick question. You seem so excited after Monday and you're throwing. And how did your body respond Tuesday? And how much are you looking forward to this week of practice and getting the fine details all in?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm so fortunate to be out here with these guys. We got a full week of practice. Felt good, on Monday, and looking forward to get back out there today and tomorrow and Friday and having a normal week. So looking forward to that and feeling good.
Drake, I asked you back on draft day who your NBA comp was.
NBA comp,
You
jeez.
said an off-brand Jason Tatum. Ironically, you then get drafted to the Patriots, and then you get to meet him at a game. What was that conversation like, and how crazy was that?
Man, it was awesome. Jason, what a more importantly, what a person he is off the field. Off the court, I think he's just such a great leader and person for kids to look up to in the New England area and the Boston area. I know he's on the road back to recovery. Looking forward to seeing when he gets back, and I got to meet him, and he was awesome. And he's a big dude. As us football players, we always kind of get a little put in our place when NBA players walk out there. So
did you tell him you're an off-brand version?
No, I didn't tell him that.
And then one more real quick. You and Sam Darnold had very similar high school hoops averages.
Yeah.
If you guys played a 1v1 today, who wins and what's the score to 11?
I'm sure Sam's a great player. I'm going to take myself anytime. I like my hoops game. So I don't know about the score, but I know he's a great player.
You're not shutting him down. Thank you.
Drake, Mike said that the next 48 hours are critical in terms of preparation. What has he told you about that as things ramp up and you get closer to game day?
Yes, it's Wednesday and Thursday of a game week. It's the two most important practice days. We got to be all hands on deck. Fine tune the details, and we already have a game plan in, but make sure we try to execute it and just fine tune what we've been working on all season, and that's bringing our identity on the road. Having a chance to go win the Super Bowl and play at a high level in critical situations and in little things that during the game little things are going to matter.
Drake, are you good at balancing all of the attention and things that you're getting this week, and everybody kind of focus on seemingly every aspect of your life while still trying to prepare for a football game?
Yeah, I know the number one thing right now is we came out here for a reason, and we came out here to win the football game and win the Super Bowl, and knowing that all my chips are going towards that, and knowing that that's the most important thing right now, and what I'm doing in life, and being out here in a new state and a new city, and just trying to find my rhythm and find a kind of plan to try to execute and treat things the same as we're going throughout the week and preparing for a game on Sunday.
Drake, you're the first quarterback for that 2020 class to make it to the Super Bowl. How do you view the competition among the six of you that went in the first round? Is that something that you feel like is going to be ongoing?
Yeah, I think it's just natural for people to compare quarterbacks to what class they're drafted in. I know it's not a race or a competition for us. We know we're all trying to get to the same stage and get to the same games and get to the same Super Bowl wins. And it just so happened that I got here first, but I know those guys are great players. We're gonna have a lot of great matchups between us down the road, and I know they're great players. Have had great years, and looking forward to many more matchups with them.
You had three of you guys make it pretty deep in the playoffs. You, Bo, and Caleb. Do you feel like you guys are making your case to be one of the historic draft classes?
I think already you can see this draft class has started to make some noise in the league, and I think it's just props to how strong our class was, and props to us for getting drafted and still putting work in to be changing game changers and for the franchises, and just to prove why our worth to these franchises, and know that's what we try to do each and every day.
Drake, what did you think about Caleb's season and those throws in the playoffs that you made and everyone's talking about? Were you also impressed as a quarterback seeing what he did?
He's been making those since I was thrown with him in high school. And in college, he made the same type throws, and it just so happened, his game translates to any stage he's playing on. And I think just he's special talent. He's special to watch, and he's so fun to watch. So he's a great player. I got to know him well, and pulling for him, and congrats on a great year to Caleb.
Drake, during your first deep playoff run, what do you think about the 18-game schedule, given the NFLPA said they're against it? How do you feel when you're facing game number 21 this season?
Man, this season feels long, that's for sure, but I think it's worth it. I think any time that you add another game, I think players and especially guys in the trenches that put the most on their bodies, probably would be worn an extra bye, and the bye week, and from there, the more and more international games is, the tougher the schedule gets. But I know playing international is such a great thing for this league, and I know 18 weeks. I got the easier position to do, because I just kind of stand back there and throw and don't really have as much gruesome hits on my body. But whatever the players think. I know that's all why there's veterans and players and a part of the NFLPA that do what they do and make these decisions for us and speak for us. So we just try to have a way in and put our vote in and whatever they decide. But I know there's a lot of things that the NFLPA is fighting for, and I appreciate them for doing that.
Drake, you've been vocal about your faith this season. How have you leaned on the Lord throughout the year?
It's a constant in my life, knowing that one of the best things about a football team is that there's other brothers in the on the team that are followers of Christ, and be able to share thoughts and sit down at chapel and listen to our chapel Mitch talk before a game is just so powerful. And realizing the night before a game that we're in here spreading the word and listening to the word and knowing that that's bigger than football has just been such a thing for me to lean on and take my thoughts away from football and know that, man, this is my purpose, and this is why I'm here on this stage today, and be able to shine light on others and get them to follow Jesus Christ is what I'm here for, and it's what God put me here to do.
Drake, you gave your own
Specifically model my game after. I think I'm now in the NFL now. I'm trying to model my game after myself and just try to take things growing up in high school and college from players in the NFL. And at this stage, you'll find times throughout the league, throughout the weeks to see like, man, this is what Josh Allen did on tape. Pump faking. This is Mahomes is pump faking. These are what these guys are doing. Looking people off. Stafford's one of the best at looking guys one way, throwing the other way. So there's things that you try to take from players, but I wouldn't say you try to model my game after anybody anymore. I'm at the stage now where I'm NFL quarterback and trying to make a name for myself. Quarter, half. I think it's become a thing in the league, more and more, the past couple of years to play quarter, half, and whether it's something that they cloud the boundary, they cloud the field, just depending on kind of what the team does. The challenge is they try to stay too high and take away deep shots, but also you got some chances underneath, and there's holes in every coverage. So knowing that and just trying to exploit where we can, and knowing that we got guys out there that can have great feel in zone and can find the zones and try to sit down, and also got to be able to run the football.
Drake, 10 years later.
One more time.
What's a word you would use to describe each of the guys in your receiving group?
A word to each of them? Yeah. Oh, Mac Hollins. A word I would describe Mac Hollins. He's just unique. Mac. He's unique. Steph Diggs is just personality. Pop just brings energy. Always positive vibes with Pop. Booty, just calm and cool. Who else we got in there? Kyle's the rookie. That's all I got to say about Kyle. He's the man, but he's a rookie. Chiz is just a mini Mac. And then who else we got in there? Steph, Booty, Mac, Pop, Kyle. I'm probably missing somebody. But no, they all do great things, and they're great personalities.
We've heard you've been often without seeing an I Heart Drake Maye shirt on the corner. You're everywhere. How do you handle that? And what's your message to Boston?
Yeah, the I Heart Drake Maye shirts are hilarious. I think it's something that even my wife has started to wear. I try not to tell her to wear it, but no, I think, like I've said many times, the way that Boston and New England area has embraced me and embraced us this year as a team has just been special. There's no better fan base I'd rather play for, and just so fortunate to be in my position to get a chance for kids to look up to me and just trying to be myself and shine light onto things that are bigger than the football, but at the same time knowing that a lot of kids out there are fans and maybe want to be in my position one day, and knowing that anything I can do to make somebody's day, I'm here to do it.
And Drake, you know what that's like. 10 years ago, you were a kid here yourself. What's it like coming to play the game of your life right now? What memories does that bring?
Yeah, I mean, it was special. My dad was fortunate enough to bring me out here and have a chance to watch the Super Bowl as a young kid, and just knowing that I'm here now is a full circle moment. And just thanks to my dad for making a middle school kid's dream come true, and now I get a chance to make my own dream come true.
Will you take a moment when you walk into the stadium and look around, and maybe you'll make it to a bunch of Super Bowls, but the first one, when you take a moment, look around and just absorb the whole thing to realize that you got there?
We played in San Francisco here last year, and I got a chance. It wasn't the same type of environment with the Super Bowl here, but got a chance to walk in that stadium and just memories of here, and knowing I got family around here that's growing up here, so I've been out here a few times. But yeah, I definitely think a little bit. When they're playing the Super Bowl, it's the same game here just 10 years later. It's pretty cool and definitely a time to reflect. But I got a ball game to win at the same time. So.
We've heard the word unselfish used
Yeah, there's so many guys in that room that can make plays. I'm so fortunate enough to be able to, have them make me look good, and it's been the, kind of the theme, all year long with them and the tight ends and even the running backs. Anybody can have an explosive game, an explosive play, a game-changing play, and just my job to find the guy that's open, and they do such a good job of not kind of, getting on me or, yelling at me for the ball, and I think that's something that speaks volumes to this team and what this team's about, just unselfish play and knowing that we're trying to make game-winning plays.
You guys have outrushed your opponents by nearly 180 yards throughout the postseason. How crucial has the run game been to your guys' success so far this postseason?
Yeah, running the football is such a huge advantage in this league. Being able to run the football and stop the run. Coach Vrabel preaches that in almost every meeting we're in, and knowing that we got guys on that offensive line that move bodies, running backs that can hit the hole and break tackles, and knowing that I can add a little bit in the run game as well. Just keeping the defense honest, knowing that if they stop the run, they got a good chance of having a better day than we do. So we got to establish the run early and try to get that going.
What have you loved the most watching your defense over the last 4 weeks?
Man, they're ferocious. They're violent. They swarm. They've caused turnovers, and they're just fun to watch. I know I experienced it in training camp. They got some great players over there. They play well together, and they've just gotten better and better each and every week. And they found a time where they're playing at a really high level, and looking forward to watching them on Sunday.
Drake Maye, he was able to travel with the team this week. What would winning a Super Bowl for him mean to you, Chris?
Coach T, what a battle, what a year. Beating cancer and having a chance to battle cancer all year long. Coach T has been a light for the defense. We haven't seen him as much around offensively, but to see him throughout the building, walking by, and him being out here on the trip. I know he's at practice on Monday. I saw him and just took a moment to say to sit back and be like, man, that was cool. That what a year he's had, and a chance to help first year as a defensive coordinator, and obviously wasn't in the way he probably imagined it before the season, but now still getting here and having a huge impact on us, and the defense has been just special, and it mean things that are bigger than football, and that's what this game's about.
Drake, what is your biggest life goal other than winning a Super Bowl?
Biggest life goal other than winning a Super Bowl? I think just to build my faith. Be a strong Christian and shine light to others into Christianity and what it does for you in your life and how it can change your life. With Jesus Christ and how He died for us and died on the cross for us, and just sharing that moment.
As you may know, we are from Patriots, China, and Patriots have most followers in China among all the NFL teams. So NFL have 2 million followers, and Patriots have 1 million, which is half the NFL fans in China are Patriots fans.
How about that?
Yeah. So do you have something to say to Chinese fans?
Shout out to Patriots fans in China. Thank you guys for cheering us on. I know it's a big crowd, a big group that cheers us on. Look forward to putting on a show for you guys on Sunday, and thanks for following us all year long.
If you win on Sunday, what's the next ambition? How do you want to become an all-time NFL great?
All-time NFL great? I don't think you play this game and play this position not to try to become an NFL all-time great. I think the only way to do that is to win more games. So I think, focus on this one here and get back to work. That's the biggest thing.
Is there any limit to your ambition?
Any what?
Any limits?
Any limits to the ambition? I think why would you limit yourself in any way? Try to reach your full potential and do whatever you can to reach the highest.
Drake, what are the emotions like this week for you?
The emotions I think it's just cool. It's such a cool moment to be out here with the guys, the teammates. So much team bonding, so much being around the teammates, to share more experiences, living in a hotel together for basically a week, and just a chance to enjoy the moment together and prepare one more time for the ultimate battle, playing the Super Bowl, and just looking forward to being out there with the guys. I know the emotions will feel a little bit higher on game day, but right now looking forward to getting in a good work of preparation and get ready to go on Sunday.
What has Mike told you about this particular game? It's longer, there's more adrenaline, the halftime show's longer, commercial breaks are longer.
No doubt. He's made a great point, and having him and Coach McDaniels, that coaches me in my position room, just having experience of playing in Super Bowls and knowing that pre-game's a lot longer. You come in for halftime, it's almost twice or 3 times as long. Just having the stamina to kind of wait it out and try to keep your body fresh and keep your emotions and mental toughness and mental strength going is going to be huge for us to kind of be at our best throughout the whole game, and knowing that the first half could go one way and you got a chance to regroup and kind of settle down and come back here in the second half and get it going.
Will you have Aunt Michael's brownies?
No, I don't know about during the game.
Before the game.
Before the game, no, I won't.
Drake, the MVP race will likely come down to you and Stafford. If it's not you, would you be bummed or happy for Stafford to win that?
Oh, I'll be stoked for Matthew. You know, I mean, what a career. You know, what a year he's had. You know, more importantly, you know, speaking on the year he's had, you know, played at a really high level. You know, really every game you saw him, you know, making throws and making plays and, you know, leading that team at such a high level. You know, what a year is you know, watching him on tape it's always fun. You know, try to watch the Rams when they're kind of on crossover film because he makes, you know, just plays and plays the quarterback position the right way. And I appreciate that about, you know, quarterbacks in this league that, you know, I'm really fond of, and Matthew's one of them. So, you know, big congrats to him and on a great year and knowing that, you know, he's one of the best that's played this game. So it's been fun to watch. Well, watch the award show. I probably won't watch it. I don't have probably time to, you know, sit down and watch that award show. I know I'll probably be getting ready to beat the Seahawks.
Drake, will you go watch any old Super Bowl highlights this week to make yourself up, or has Mike showed you guys any yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Vrabel's done a great job about, you know, hinting on the past, but not trying to relive it. And that's been the best thing about this team. It's a new era. That's a new kind of brand of football we're trying to play. And, you know, one of the best things is we appreciate and we're proud of our history and what we've done in the past, but at the same time, we're trying to, you know, make it our own.
Drake, how does the shoulder feel?
Yeah, shoulder feels great.
Is there any pain whatsoever lingering?
Feels good. Feels good. That's why you have guys in the training room. My guy Zach and Mike. There's been, you know, multiple people in there working on, you know, get me healthy, and I'm feeling, you know, great to go.
Do you expect to be limited in practice at all today?
One more time.
Do you expect to be limited at all in practice?
I wasn't limited on Monday, so I don't see any way I'd be limited today. I'm feeling good.
Drake, how would you define success? How you measure progression?
One more time.
How do you define success?
Define success? Man, that's a question right there. Define success. I think to define success would be to excel in an area of work, you know, at a really high level that you're proud of. I think that would be success for me. And success, you know, in life is it doesn't have to be sports, doesn't have to be, it could be little things like having a great day or having a great, you know, meeting or having a great, your relationship with somebody. Just finding success in something in your life is what you're working for. It's what it is about, and it's what it's about, you know, bouncing back from failure and reaching that point of a point of where you feel like, man, I've done something that I feel proud to do.
What did you learn the most about yourself?
What I learned the most about myself? Just bouncing back from things that, you know, haven't gone my way or I wish it would have gone another way. Just being able to, you know, put it in the past and know that, you know, what's in the future is more important.
Football's going to be in the Olympics in 2 years. Do you fancy a bit of flag football for the USA?
Say that one more time.
Football's going to be in the Olympics. Do you fancy doing a bit of flag football for the USA?
I think that'd be an honor to play for my country in any way in the Olympics. You know, I know there's a lot of great players out there that would love to play, and I know quarterbacks, you're one of those positions that, you know, only a couple can play. But I know I'd be, you know, honored and proud to play. But there's a lot of players that probably go before me.
When you see the Seahawks team on film, what do you see?
Yeah, I think they're fast. You know, they play together. They're well coached, and I think they're in the right spot. They make it tough on you. They make you play in long yardage, and they, you know, have a kind of a swagger to them that they enjoy playing out there together. They're hype. They make noise, and you know, one of the best things about them is they're great in all three levels. So we got a tough challenge, and they got great players on all three levels, and we know we got to play a good brand of football and get back to what we've been doing all year long.
Drake, was the Buffalo loss valuable to you guys to sort of learn some things from it to kind of launch you to where you're going now?
I think the Buffalo loss was a point where we were, you know, at a hot streak during the season, and it was a point where our first half was, we were like, man, this is who we are. And in our second half, we came out and be like, you know, against these playoff teams, you got to play 4 quarters. And knowing that and coach seeing that and kind of relaying that message to us again and again that you need all 4 quarters to play, you know, in this game and play against a good team with a good defense, with a good quarterback. And we got one of those again this week. So it's got to be 4 quarters of football and know we got to play at a high level.
The fact that you guys handled that loss, maturely say good things about your team and the way it's
I think 100% responding from any loss is what life's about. Responding from a game that didn't go your way or plays you feel like you left out there, and this is what this sport's about. Responding and bouncing back from plays or games or maybe even a season like last year to bounce back and get back on the track. Coach McDaniels? Yeah, oh man, the impact is huge. He's such a great coach. He's a great coach of quarterbacks. He's such a great coach for, you know, the offensive room, and I know he's had a huge impact on my career, on my life, and just learning his offense. You know, his offense is very friendly to quarterbacks that play in it. He's you know, gives me a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, I got to earn it, and that's the biggest thing we talk about: trust in the quarterback room and trusting each other and trust between me and him, and just trusting what we see on tape, trusting what we prepare for, and just using my use my abilities to take it from there.
You're about to become the second youngest starting quarterback in Super Bowl history. How do you balance soaking in the moment with leading a team towards its goal?
Yeah, this year's been such a long year. It goes by so fast. I think you soak in the moment. With being there with the guys, playing in Super Bowl. I don't think you soak in the moment or about however young I am or old I am. I think you just soak in the moment with your teammates, your coaches, the people who you love, my family and wife, and that are there with me. I think that's the biggest thing. You soak in the memories and all the stats and what comes with it is part of it that gives you guys something to talk about. But for me, it's about soaking in the moment with my friends, my teammates, my best friends, guys that I love going to battle with, and soaking in that.
Confident enough that if you watch it as you watched last year's Super Bowl, you think we can get there that you can get there this quickly?
I think that'd be tough to say. I think everybody at the start of the year kind of put the Super Bowl on their bulletin board and knowing this is what we're the end goal is something to chase. And I think during the year you're not really thinking about it much. You're just trying to take it one game at a time, and that's the best thing that we can do. And now talking about the Super Bowl is it feels a little weird that we're actually playing in it, and now we get a chance to talk about it seriously. And that's what coaches remind us this week. Our hopes at the beginning of the year have turned into reality, and that's what we're here doing now.
Drake, what has Richie Armand made?
Golly, Richie, man. Whew, Richie, he does so much for us. He's always on call. He does, I think the player development and having, a guy like Richie that's always there for us. He's there for us. He's there for every member on this team, every staff member, every player. And I think one of the best things about the NFL is providing positions like Richie to do whatever's best for us. And Richie is just so selfless. He cares about us. Anything you ask him, he gets it done. And he's just, more importantly, he's just fun to be around. He's always in the locker room, hanging out with the guys. In the offseason, we go play hoops, and me and Richie are playing hoops at the local YMCA. And I just, really, can't thank Richie enough for what he's done. And he's had a week this week of preparing the Super Bowl, and he's, been such a huge part.
How has he helped you develop as a leader?
Oh, man, I think Richie, you always see a smile on Richie's face, and just knowing that what Richie does to brighten people's day is how I can try to translate that in my life and shine light and brighten people's day in any way, and that's what Richie does for us and teaches us to what we can do for somebody else.
Your coach was just talking about how important the next 48 hours are. Why are they so?
Yeah, the next 48 hours are two big practice days for us. Practice days to game plan, to execute the game plan, and to get going on a work week. We're in work. We're going to be in pads, playing a new temperature, new kind of setting, and we're just looking forward to having a great week of work and get ready for the big game.
How would you describe the identity?
The identity of this team, man, effort and finish is probably the number one thing that comes to mind, and just play for each other. Effort and finish, play for each other. I think that's the biggest thing that I kind of remind myself throughout the game. My position, I don't get to show effort and finish as much. Maybe once or twice this year I've done it, but be able to play for each other and just try to play to this identity is what's got us here, and not to lose sight of that, and knowing that whatever got us here has worked, and try to finish off one more time.
Drake, you're number 2 and 3 for this league.
Number what? 2 and 3. Sí, eso. Hey, player. Debe tirar más fotos. Fotos or fotos? Debe tirar más fotos. Wait, what does that say? What am I saying?
Some from back home. There's some, there's me. I should take more photos.
I should take more photos? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Which memory do you should take more photos?
Ooh. Which memory I wish I took more photos of? I think the little moments throughout the season, whether it's playing cards with the guys, laughing in the locker room. I wish I could take a camera out there to the inside the huddle of what we're talking about or what we're laughing about, and just moments throughout the season of laughter and memories that you look back on and you can remember that and pinpoint that moment is the biggest thing in life and what makes pictures so special.
You're 23, so you are really young, but how do you feel when you are playing Super Bowl a couple of years ago when you are watching the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's what you dream of playing, and no matter the age, it's what a cool game to play in, and looking forward to get out there with my teammates and playing in the big game.
And the last one, who's your pick to win the FIFA World Cup next summer?
Pick to win the FIFA World Cup. Is Messi going to play with Argentina?
Yeah.
I'm picking Argentina with Messi. But shout out USA. I got to go with USA as well. USA or Argentina?
Drake, there's been talk. A lot of quarterbacks have asked the difference between progression reads and kind of coverage reads.
Yeah.
In this system, it's kind of unique compared to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Is it the mantra certainly different from what you've been asked to do in the past, and even last year under Van Pelt?
I think the best thing about offenses nowadays, you're trying to mix in a little bit of both. You're trying to mix in pure progression. You're trying to mix in coverage reads. I think the best thing for us quarterbacks is you try to identify the coverage, every snap, and try to see the shell. See if it's post safety, split safety, see the corners, what they're doing. And I think the biggest thing is just you got to do it, and not even teach the receivers, but the receivers got to react as well because their route changes in man versus zone. So just really in general, I think at our position, defenses are doing such a great job of disguising. Making it tough on the quarterback to pick a side and pre-snap and changing the structure. So really for us, I think it's something where you can kind of eliminate stuff pre-snap and then maybe kind of work post-snap, say, hey, I think I can maybe work here. And really I think pure progression has become a more and more common theme, and it's something that makes it easier on us, but also at the same time we try to make sure we have an idea what the defense is in, because that'll help us get to the right spot.
How dependent is it on the defense you're facing, how much you might do one or the other?
Yeah. That's a great question. I really think maybe 30% of the time, what the defense does maybe change my thought pre-snap to post-snap about, what I was going to do on the play. I think maybe the other 70% of the time, whether or not the defense does, what it does is maybe a chance, hey, I would have started here anyway, and then you can kind of, sweep the board or start here, maybe go here or check it down, little things like that. Maybe 30% of the time I'll change kind of what I'm thinking based on what they do pre-snap.
Because you guys do it in a certain way, do you feel like you see more disguises than you would, like the Chargers seem to be throwing like some crazy disguises?
I think just defensive coordinators are kind of disguised mentality or not. I don't think it's really kind of, more the team that we are. I think it's more what defenses love to do nowadays. And I think, this team we're playing on Sunday does the same. They start the same picture and try to change it up post-snap. So we got to do a great job throughout the week of, practicing that and seeing it in the game.
Drake, I saw your brother use his national championship ring to mark his golf ball. Is he giving you any advice on playing for a championship on such a big stage? And do you think you'll have a bigger ring to mark your golf ball next spring?
Yeah, no, Luke he's been great, my whole career. It's a different sport, it's a different position than I'm in, but, he's played at, in the same type of games, in the same type of championship games as you mentioned, and knowing just to kind of use what I've done all my life, prepare and confidence in myself. He always is big on confidence in yourself and making the next shot or making the next throw or making the next play. And Luke has been a great job reminding me of that. And I know my possible Super Bowl ring would definitely be bigger than a national championship ring. Nowadays, the teams are making them so big and so cool. But really, I think we got a lot of work to do from there. But just being myself and having confidence in myself.
Did you give him a two-stroke penalty for the illegal ball?
No. Luke is he does a good job of mixing things up and kind of surprising you. And I think playing golf with them is one of the best things that I do, and it's so fun.
Drake, can you speak to the importance of the scout team and getting you in the position you're currently in? And are there any players specifically you'd like to give some recognition to who help you improve this season?
Yeah, the scout team's huge. They would do work all year long. They don't get enough credit. They don't get enough love. Coach Vrabel does a good job in team meetings, a great job really of pumping up 2 or 3 players throughout the week that really felt like showed a great look. And it's really dependent on the team with kind of who has the most important role. And showing one of the somebody has a job to show is Myles Garrett one week. Somebody has a job to show is Derwin James the next week. So it's such a cool and tough job for them to kind of adapt to the defense in such a short amount of time and really just be there for us. And it's such a cool thing for the support coaches like Riley and Chucky that get it going throughout the week and get the look right and make sure that the look translates to us seeing that look in the game. It's so cool when you see that look in practice and see it in the game and be like, man, that's what we want, and that's cool. I don't want to highlight anybody particular because I'll leave somebody out, but I know the scout team guys have done great all year long, and they've been huge for us.
How did you go about finding your voice this season in the locker room at the podium?
Finding my voice? I think being myself. I think I found my voice, in certain groups or in certain areas before, kind of the whole team, but at the same time just trying to, be myself, and I feel like my play on the field kind of earned, more ability to speak vocally and speak to my teammates and have their respect.
In Mexico. If you look at the schedule that the Seahawks had in the playoffs, they played 2 divisional games against 2 teams that they played basically the last month or so.
Yeah.
So you're basically an unknown to them. You as a player and you as an offense, the last month they haven't had to prepare for a new team as much as they also have to prepare for you. Does that put you at an advantage for these games?
That's a great question. I think anytime you're playing an NFC opponent, you don't really know them as well as somebody in the AFC or somebody in your division. So I wouldn't say it's a big advantage for us to prepare for somebody that we haven't seen and they haven't seen us. But I think that anytime you have 2 weeks to prepare, I think the teams are both pretty well prepared for the game and looking forward to having a good battle.
What's your favorite color Gatorade?
Favorite color of Gatorade? I'm a Riptide Rush, that purple.
I'm going to show you a play. Can you tell us if you remember where you were, how old were you, what's your general memory of this? You know this play.
Oh, man. Where was I? I think I probably was close to, turning the game off and going to bed. I'm sure we probably had school the next morning. But no, what a special play in history, especially with the Patriots. What a phenomenal play. I remember seeing Tom Brady's reaction on the sideline. You saw Richard Sherman's reaction. Just a crazy play, and knowing that it's plays like that with situational football and critical moments at the end of the games is oftentimes when these games come down to, and knowing to excel and practice those and be at your best in those moments is hard and it's tough, and it can end like that for either side of us.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you some American food or Mexican food for the big game. So you have to choose this or that.
This or that, okay.
So, cheddar cheese or guacamole?
Ooh, I'm a cheddar cheese guy.
Okay. Hot dogs or tamales?
Ooh, I'm a golfer, so I love a glizzy at the turn.
Okay. Cheeseburger or aguarache?
I'm a picky eater. I gotta go cheeseburger, brother. Unless you got a quesadilla on there. I love a quesadilla.
Hawaiian pizza or tacos al pastor?
I feel bad. I'm keep going Hawaiian pizza. I love pineapple on pizza.
Okay, hot wings or sopes?
I don't know about hot wings. I'll go sopes. I like those.
Perfect. American nachos or Dorilocos?
Dorilocos. What is those?
Very mixed thing with Doritos.
Is it spicy?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit spicy?
Yeah.
I like Doritos, so I'll try that on the right.
American soda or horchata?
Horchata's nice. Horchata. I like horchata.
Thanks, Ray.
We have three of your teammates here. So if you have to choose one for the best halftime show, which would
The best halftime show?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think it's got to be Matt Collins. I don't know what he'd do, but he'd have something that'd be a great idea.
Okay, the best friend?
Best friend?
Yeah. You can choose you.
I can't choose myself to be my own friend. I think it's hard for me to take a teammate over my coach. I got to take a teammate, Mac, again.
The last one. If you're in a post-apocalyptic day and you have to survive with one of these guys.
Survive with one of them? Definitely not me. You can put me away. Mac would have some great Mac hacks, but I got to go with Coach Rabel.
Okay.
Drake, one more on your
Ooh, that's a great question. Is there a specific person I'm playing for? I think the number one answer is, the good Lord above, playing for, my Savior, Jesus Christ, and playing for my faith. And then kind of family-wise, I think playing for my family, I think the name on the back of your jersey. I think you play for your name on the back of your jersey, and I think you play for this logo right here. You play for your teammates, you play for your coaches, and I think the name on the front of the jersey means more than the name on the back. But I think having a reputation for my family, for my brothers, for my parents, and how they've raised me and got us here is someone that I can't not give respect to and say I don't play for them as well. My family, my teammates, and the good Lord above, and obviously my wife. My wife's now a part of the family.
Last time you were in this stadium, Super Bowl 50?
We played here last year against the Niners.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
What do you remember about Super Bowl 50?
Super Bowl 50. I remember being a Panthers fan. I had me a little Super Bowl jacket that my dad bought me. We were sitting in the stands, and we got there real early. We were able to watch warm-ups. I think I remember kind of being back and forth. The Broncos got a lead, and I think it was a beautiful day that day. And having a chance to watch Peyton Manning's last game as a fan of football was pretty special. I know there was some critical plays in the game. Looking back on, I remember the fumble that Panthers had, and just knowing that plays like that are game-changing, and try to make them or you don't make them. And from there, you just have a appreciation for being at the game. Watching the halftime performance. I think it was Beyonce, maybe. I think it was, and then just memory of the whole vibes of kind of being a fan at the Super Bowl and so many different people colliding and one for one game and just a special game. Just me and my dad. I was in 7th grade, so I was 13.
One more on your voice, if you don't mind. Just, I've noticed like your mannerisms, have kind of evolved at the podium. Kind of slowing down and talking and stuff like that. Like, do you feel like that's just like a matter of reps and like the more, or is it confidence?
I mean, I talk fast in general. I don't know if I've slowed down. I appreciate you saying that, but no, I've kind of always been the same way at the podium. I speak my mind. I speak fast. I got weird, probably facial expressions. I've got weird hand movements, and I'll just try to speak my mind and try to say the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah. I think a comeback win is huge for us, huge for momentum, huge for confidence, and one of the biggest things that I think happened this year was we've kind of been up in games and kind of had to hold the lead. We had a chance to have a comeback win on a road environment where they're loud, they're tough, they're fighting for the playoffs, we're fighting for seeding. Just a big game like that where we had to come back and had 2 big drives. The defense had to get stops, the special teams had to play a part. All 3 levels, we never lost confidence, never lost belief, and that's what. I wouldn't say a turning point, but definitely a momentum kind of shifter. There you go. Yeah. Golly. Man, Arkansas is fine. It's man Hunter Henry. I think Arkansas, the college, anybody that's from his hometown, his family should be really proud of the man he is. He's such a great teammate. He's so fun to be around. He's such a great competitor. He's one of the the best teammates I'll have in my career. It's hard for me to say that now, but I know looking back, he'll still be one of them. He's one of my best friends on the team. Great player, even better teammate, and just a man of faith that has a great family and is in it for the right reasons. He shows up to work, every day, putting his ball out there, practicing hard, and really just is always in a good mood and really just enjoy playing with Hunter. And I appreciate every moment out there with him. Have I been to Arkansas? That's a good question. I think maybe drove through it. I don't know if I've been exactly to it, but maybe drove through it. Last thing that I Googled, I'll pull it up. I'm gonna have to lie. The last thing I Googled was a Go-Yard bag. I wasn't really familiar with what the brand was, but I think my teammates always got some swag bags, so maybe trying to add to my collection. I don't think I'd fit the brand, but I need a little more swag. I got no swag, so.
Drake, what are your biggest reflections on being here at the Super Bowl? You think of the people that brought you here, that helped you to get to this point. You think of those who doubted you. Like, when you think about being here in this moment with this opportunity, what are the biggest things you've done to reflect upon this week?
I haven't had too much time to reflect on it. It's hard to be in the midst of it and reflect. I think that's oftentimes it's so hard about life as human beings, reflecting on special moments and. You feel like you always want to go back to those times, but I think the biggest thing I think of is a small town kid, from Huntersville, North Carolina, who's had a chance to have a dream of mine and just get to where a lot of people have wanted to be, and now that I'm here, just appreciate the people along the way that have got me here, and knowing that it's worth it. It's worth it, all the work you put in, all the people that helped you along the way. To thank them. It's worth it to thank them and know that they helped you get here. And so many different people helped. It's hard to say give thanks, but at the same time, it's only worthwhile if you get here and make the most of it on Sunday.
You mentioned that this is kind of the start of something you hope for this Patriots franchise. How do you balance that with kind of the opportunity of now and not knowing what the future?
Yeah, I don't think you worry about the future, Coach. I think the past and the future. You worry about being in the present, and Coach Vrabel's so great at hinting at the past, but not reliving it, and kind of being like, hey, we're doing it. We did it this way. This is how you should do it. And he's great at bringing back old memories, but at the same time, knowing that we're a new team, new era, new kind of Patriots team that we're trying to build for a long time in the future.
Last question, guys. You were in draft in Detroit, and it's been 2 years now. I mean, it's a short journey, and you're already here at the Super Bowl. What's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, that journey's been a whirlwind. Kind of adapting to the NFL. Always wondering what it's like to be in one of those locker rooms. Being in one of the huddles. Calling plays, being in road environments, playing in stadiums that you only dreamed of playing in, growing up, and now we get a chance to be here playing in the big game. It's special. It's something that I don't take for granted. Appreciate, my teammates, coaches, everybody who helped us get here, and knowing that from this year to last year, just the 2 sides of the NFL of what it's like, the business side of it, the losses, the wins, what makes it worth it, why everybody wants to get to this game so bad, why the teams are fighting so hard to get to the Super Bowls, and you know why now. Sitting here and realizing that everybody's hope that we're living in reality now.